What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. Falcon's fixed. Needed a battery. When it started misfiring, I thought it was the condenser or points taking a crap, but they were good. So threw a new battery in. Since the battery strap broke and it hit the fan on the alternator, runs like a top. So rip this thing around and then we'll come back and do a shop tour a little bit later. All right, on location. Falcon is running like a top today, so I got that up here at the original shop, which have not been spending enough time up here, but kind of is what it is. Here's that shovel frame. I got to bring this back to shop 2, since that'll be more of the fab stuff. Got a couple CT70 frames that we're gonna deck out in some candy colors. So we're doing one candy red, one candy blue. So we did one more for this guy a little while back, but these should clean up pretty nice. Silver metallic base, so a nice subtle metal flake on there. But candy red, candy blue, tis what it is. There's those other shovel cases I gotta bring over to the other shop that I picked up at the last swap meet. They are big, so it's set up for a 3 5/8 bore, if I remember correctly. And then I gotta start digging through the trailer and the cylinders I got. And I just finished up these Harley cases for a customer, I believe he's up in Milwaukee. I haven't been doing powder coating for like 15 years, so we've done a lot of cases over the years. I haven't done a set of Evo or shovel cases in gloss black yet. It's kind of weird to me that this is the first one I've done. I've done a lot in silver, a couple in like a satin or a flat black, but never a high gloss black. So these came out pretty good. We're gonna rip the tape off of these and check those. I use the gasket as the template, so there's a tiny bit of overspray, so it will need some filing. Whenever you get stuff coated, especially engine cases, and let's just bring one of these in and we'll kind of walk you through it. Just maybe you know, maybe you don't. I don't really know how that works, but we'll lay this down here. When you're doing Harley cases, any of the engine components, primary covers, any of those types of things. Let's peel some of this tape back here. I use fiberglass tape. A lot of people use the plastic stuff. I don't like the plastic stuff. This stuff tends to bite a little bit better in my experience, but this is a nice heavy coat, especially on the cast. We'll peel this tape off. He's running open primary on here as well. But there's the tape, so we get nice clean lines. Take a file to the edges of this. If you go through any of my Ironhead videos or any of the other stuff, you're gonna have a ridge where the powder was. So if there is a ridge, take a file, knock through that. Come on, I got a silicone plug in here that glued itself to the case. Let me grab a knife. There we go. Silicone plug in there, so that's kind of expected. The powder is going to stick around it. And then I just clean this up. I mean, you're going to put the stator wiring goes through here anyway. But I tucked that plug in so it's pretty much flush. So there's a little bit of metal, or not metal, but a little bit of powder buildup on the edge of this. So now this is fixed in an oval shape. But overall, powder is substantially thicker than paint, so it will leave a little bit of a ridge on the case half. I know I've been slacking in terms of videos lately, so I appreciate you guys sticking around. I've just been jamming on that new property, getting stuff set up and done over there, having a little bit of fun. There we go. We use the gaskets around here too, so a little bit of a gasket line, a little bit of a tape line. Kind of is what it is, but overall, pretty happy with that. Masterpiece. Nice, clean, gloss black Harley cases. Then I gotta go through and just pop out all these little, we taped off every one of the bolt holes where the cases get held together. So we'll pop these off, and then this is pretty much ready for to give back to the customer. I got a buddy coming over to help put up the temporary wall at shop number 2. So ran to Home Depot, picked up some wood. 10-foot lumber fits in the Falcon. Winning. Probably get a 12-footer in here if I really had to. That's what race cars are for. Hauling lumber. Now the Falcon's back and running. Great. Feels good again. Well, we made it back to the shop. Falcon, aka lumber hauler, did fine. So we'll drag all these out, and now I get to show you guys what we've gotten done. So this side started moving things in from the other shop. So I got one of my presses over here, metal little welding bench. I still got to bring over all the metal, but I had that set up. Got the TIG welder over here. Do have high power right there, and another one up there. So I can tweak those and set this up. I don't, unfortunately, I thought these outlets were live. They are not, so I gotta track that one down, get something hooked up from, I believe that Power Works over there. So I gotta run another bend and some more boxes and outlets over on this wall. The big one should have power. I traced that up to the panel, and that lines up the way it should. Went through some of the old tools and things, kept what I needed, got rid of the rest. And then bandsaw, torches. Still trying to make my way through this, but went over to my buddy's shop where I had that iron head chopper, brought some stuff back too. So I got all of the iron head chopper stuff in here with some extra parts and bits that I had over there. Got this all kind of cleaned up. We got a bar. So this was garage sale fine. We just refinished it quickly. So the girls were working on this last night, did a great job. Got the fridge over here from the back room, so that'll kind of be our little hangout area. And then I got a buddy coming over now, hence the wood, to help me frame off this back section here. So that'll all be finished. I might do some shelving and things up top. We're only going up to the beam. We're not going that top section at all yet. That's a way later project. Got the lift over. One of them. So this will suffice for now. Iron head chopper project that's gonna need to be cut in half and re-welded and reworked. So that's gonna be coming soon. Got my 78 FLH back, full trim dresser. So that'll live here. Had that out. Rode Frankenstein over the other day, and then the Evo sitting here. So still a lot of cleanup to do, still jamming away, but starting to look like a chopper shop. Got a bunch more things to run back from the other shop too. Sorry, I'm a little tired today. It was a long night last night, but getting it laid out slowly but surely. And then the bar came out of it. Well, now it's a bar. Kind of sacrilege, I guess. It was in a church, hence the logo. Presbyterian, I believe, but she will work. So nice little table spot there. And then today, like I said, we'll get that wall up, at least framed. I don't think I'm not doing drywall or anything. It leaks, it's moldy, it's weird in here sometimes, so might just do some panel board, cover up that back reflective insulation and solidify that. But once that's done, we'll put some more outlets in on the front of it. And yeah, light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, the guy up front had this sitting in his garage, so we got a little AMF dirt bike to get going. He said he tried messing with it, couldn't get it going, but I kicked it over. It's got really strong compression. Figure we'll just hardwire something together here, throw a fresh battery in, and see if it makes some sparks on a carb clean. I don't think this will take much to get going. It's just a matter of whether or not we got parts and what we need to do. I don't really care about the lights and things like that. So if we just hardwire it, this should be a fun little property bike. So that'll be the next one to get going. I'd like to have a little more off-road fun. I wanted to get the mini bike going, but I left that outside for so long. This thing needs a ton of work now. The wheel bearings are completely locked up and seized, the chains seized, lots of rust. That's what happens when you neglect things and let them sit outside for 2 years. So that's the new update. That extra John boat that was down in the water, I dropped that in the water. It is floating. It just smells like death in there. Lifted that thing up. There's about 40 snakes living underneath it. Makes perfect sense. It was on top of gravel. Nice warm spot for all the snakes to live. So when we lifted that up, 40 snakes in there, 30, 40 of them. I mean, I literally, there was probably 30, 40 snakes in there. Not making that up. They all slithered away, some of them, and then the other ones, there's blood down there from whatever they were eating. It was neat, but we got a trolling motor here that I think should work on there as well. And then we'll just go from there. So I'm waiting on my buddy to get here. Maybe we'll do a little time lapse on that. Doing the wall, clearing some stuff out, moving stuff around, and I'll just kind of start sprucing it up until he gets here. We got this side all done and painted, just barn board on front, kind of what we're gonna do over there. Patched up that dip down at the bottom for the small mini slider door. That's never gonna work. And then just a matter of kind of capping this. So we gotta run up there and cap the chimney, plug this back up. But fresh white areas, Dottie's got more decorating to do. It's kind of what she wants to do. So, oh, I finally found a place for my oil lamp that I've been holding on to forever too. Literally had this for probably 12 years, sitting at the other shop. Had it hooked up for a minute, but got a nice spot for it. Found a snake skin down by the water the other day too. We're almost there. I know this is a long-winded. I didn't plan on doing a bunch of videos on this, but this is literally all I've been doing for the last month. For you guys, it's been a week and a half, 2 weeks, I think. So 2 weeks of projects up here, maybe 3 weeks, I don't really know. Been jamming away. Bikes are coming back, getting set up. Almost there, but at least with the lift over here, I gotta do some minor work on this. Frankenstein needs a bolt for the headlight switch because that wire fell out from the switch, so we'll get that patched up, finish up the rest, and we're good to go. Well, yesterday was kind of a mess around. We got some of the stuff moved in. I want to start jamming on this dirt bike at some point, but it's a nice early Sunday morning. Kind of just continuously cleaning up in here. We got the back wall framed. I think Dottie's going to do some barn door paneling or some sort of thing on here, but my buddy Tim Morgan came by and knocked this out for me real quick. Way better than I would have done. I would have slapped it together, but it's anchored into the floor. Everything's pretty much good to go. So it's got an insulation panel on the back in between that and the sheet metal. We'll put some sort of wall up there. Made it work with the space we got. It's kind of goofy since it is just a barn. Bikes are all moved in-ish. I got the chopper, the shovel head chopper, and the Super Glide back at the house still. And what else? We got my neighbor across the street actually bought this blaster from here, from Mike's wife, ex-wife or something. But he got it, didn't really have a use for it, brought it back, and then dropped off some dump truck panels for blasting. So first job got dropped off already. We're not even set up and operational, but we're getting close. So yesterday I went through, I fired up the diesel compressor and kind of laid out what's on here. A lot of the stuff here needs to be updated and fixed. These airlines are really soft. The blast hose is pretty soft, but it was functioning with whatever sand's in here. This is completely filled, so it's very heavy. But I was able to hook up the air hose to here and get everything else laid out, just tested it outside. But that's when I found out we need to do some work on this compressor. Nothing major, but we'll come on over here. Chipmunks, birds, nature is just waking up. All right, so let me throw you guys right here. The air, it's got 2 filters on here, but the air side is nasty in the filter. So I know it's not really normal for the channel, but this is just a John Deere 4045 turbo motor, diesel motor with a 375 screw. But everything seemed to be working. It gets hot, I know that, but I couldn't tell if it was just the exhaust heat coming up here. I don't think there's a temp gauge, which I do want to add at some point, just so I can kind of keep an eye on the water temps of this thing while it's running. The fan's working, it's full of coolant, I know that, but I'd like to just get in here and give this a quick once over, and then I might actually go through and power wash some of this stuff, clean everything up and see exactly what we're working with. This air filter I actually did take off yesterday and blow out with the electric compressor inside because it was nasty. Still not the cleanest, but we're gonna fix that right now. I gotta stop and grab some fuel for this thing at some point too, but okay, fingers crossed. These things get expensive real quick too. It's fun when you step up to big boy things and everything gets really expensive really quick. Like this, and the compressor wasn't cheap, obviously. That was expected, but you're also stepping up into expensive costs for maintenance. So filters, and I mean, I think this air filter is like 80 bucks, 75, 80 bucks, something like that. A lot more money than I anticipated for an air filter, but this one I had out, that one's actually in really good shape. That's the one that should go into the actual something. I don't remember. Oh yeah, this is for the motor side, this is for the screw side. But quick little filter change on here, and then I'd fire this thing up for you, but it's about 6 a.m. and I don't need to piss off the neighbors living up front. It's a little early for that. But I went through, I gotta do an oil change on the motor side. The screw side actually looks pretty good. But oil, there's plenty in there. It's just a little darker than I'd like. I'd like to clean this up a little bit. So at some point I'll pull this thing back up front. We'll do a quick oil change, fluid change on this for diesel. Surprisingly, I know this was a really common motor, 4045 for John Deere's. A couple of videos on this in terms of like people doing motor swaps, putting them in trucks and stuff, but I didn't really find all that much info in regard to working on these. So I know it's way off kilter from the chopper channel, but we'll be jamming away on some things here. I'll do a new water separator, grab one of these, and then, what do you call it? Just a fluid change, really. And then, like I said, I gotta figure out where I can tap into this for a temp gauge. I'm assuming there's gotta be something on the intake somewhere for the coolant. And then, in order to get to all of this stuff, we'll just kind of keep upgrading on this thing. So Got the battery hooked up. It does have a new injector pump and a new starter. And there's the manifold and turbo stuff. So I just got to figure out where I can tap into a block passage. I'm assuming there has to be something for coolant. It's a 97s. A lot of the new ones have a smart brain box board. In here, all I have is an amp gauge that isn't working. Got provisions to put a water gauge in here. I'd like to just get that done and then on, off, start. That's pretty much it, but it is very low hours. This is functioning 594 hours, so should be okay there. It sounds good, it runs good when it's working. It's loud, but that's kind of where we're at there. And then if we come back around to the actual shop, the only other thing I gotta do right now, it's a Sunday morning, so I just woke up not very hungover and a little motivated, so figured I'd come back over here. I got the air compressor. This one's working, but I have a regulator and moisture separator that I'm gonna get mounted on the wall. Then I'm gonna have to start running hoses out, because that being tucked back in the corner is nice for being up here when it's running. You don't really hear it. It's out of sight, out of mind, but it's really kind of a pain to run the airlines out there and then all the way over to the shop. So maybe I'll drill a hole, get some stuff laid out here. I might order some more of that flexi pipe, the air compressor line stuff that they got now. It's all over Amazon and whatever else, but I got that for the new old shop too, which is going to be coming at some point. I don't know if we're going to do any videos on the moving things over there, but here I definitely need to run some air out. So I'm going to mess around with that for a little bit. We'll be back when I'm done. Working on the compressor stuff. Got all the small, he had this going down to like 1/4 inch MPT, so it wasn't really throwing out much pressure at all. Got this taken off. I had the new regulator moisture separator on here. That was gonna be right here, but I think I'm gonna put it on the wall and then I can plumb up and tee over. So if I tee off up here, we'll drill a hole through the wall there. That'll run down that bike side wall. Then I can come over, follow the upper section of this, and then we'll come out over here. And then run either along the top there with our conduit, run that over. I need a supply into the blast room, and then I need, I might actually just tap that in through the side wall of this, because that's gonna supply the air feed for the mask, and then we'll basically just loop it all the way around, come back over to here. Whether we go along the ceiling or that way, I don't really know exactly what we're gonna do yet. And I might just do PVC on that. I know it's all over the internet of why you should and shouldn't, but I know from experience I haven't had any issues with it in the past. Or maybe we'll use more of that line. Just don't really want to spend a ton more money right now. Just trying to get everything set up and operational. I can do steel pipe too, but that gets pricey, and then trying to recut and make everything work. The PVC stuff should be fine. It's going to be a low pressure circuit. We're not running massive amounts of air through there. The mask will run probably 25, 30 pounds of pressure at the most. So then it's not going to get crazy hot like the blasting one at the other shop. So I'll figure that one out, but that'll wrap this video up for now. I know it's kind of scattered, building walls and time-lapsing and shop updates and everything else, but bikes are moving in slowly but surely. Just got to get the rest of these little details knocked out, and then we can start jamming away on these. And more importantly, I need to get the blasting setup working up here. That's the whole point of all of this. That's what's going to pay the bills on things. We got those dump truck panels already. I know they just came in. They're not in any crazy rush on them, but I don't like having them up here. And if he gave me the blaster back, I'd like to just get that done for him right away. Paying it forward. But yeah. Finish up the airlines, and then next video, hopefully we'll be able to start jamming on some of these bikes again. Maybe even go riding, that'd be nice. More than the 5-6 minute transports from one garage to another garage, but thanks for sticking around and watching the progress. We will catch you guys on the next one.